Welcome! Today we are diving deep into some seriously powerful stuff. We're going to hack our own reality by looking at the companion book to Don Miguel Ruiz's The Four Agreements. This isn't just theory, it's packed with real, practical tools to make these ideas work in your life. So let's break down how to get started.
All right, let's just jump right in with a huge question. Who actually wrote the rules you live by? You know, the ones about what success is, what failure is, how you're supposed to act, what you should want. Seriously, take a second and think about it. Do you really know where those rules came from?
Well, the book has a really surprising and honestly kind of profound answer to that question. And it all starts with understanding this idea of the dream we live in.
So, where do these rules come from? Ruiz calls it domestication. From the second we're born, we're basically being trained by our parents, our teachers, our culture. It's a system of reward and punishment. Do this, you get a treat. Do that, you get in trouble. And through all this, we start building this image of perfection, the person we think we need to be loved and accepted. The only problem? It's usually not who we really are.
And all of this domestication, it builds this thing inside each of us, an internal book of law. Just imagine a giant, invisible rule book in your head. It's filled with every single should and shouldn't you've ever absorbed. And the crazy part is, most of the time, we follow these rules without even knowing they're there.
And what's the result of living by this hidden rulebook? Ruiz doesn't pull any punches. He says all the suffering and drama in your life is the result of what you have learned. Just let that sink in. The rules aren't even ours, but we're the ones who feel the pain when we break them.
So this internal book of law, right? It doesn't enforce itself. Nope. It creates these two really powerful characters inside our minds that basically run the show, your inner judge and your inner victim.
And to really get how these two work, just look at this contrast. On one side, you have the real you, authentic, free, trusting yourself. But on the other, there's that image of perfection we're all taught to chase. And that gap, that huge space between who you are and who you think you should be, well, that's the perfect breeding ground for both the judge and the victim.
First up is the judge. Oh man, this is the ultimate inner critic. It's the part of you that takes that book of law and uses it like a weapon against you. Every time you make a mistake, every time you don't live up to that impossible image of perfection, the judge is right there, gavel in hand, finding you guilty. And who gets that guilty verdict? That would be the victim. This is the part of us that believes every nasty thing the judge says. It internalizes all the criticism, accepts the punishment, and just carries around this incredibly heavy weight of guilt, blame, and shame. It feels totally powerless.
Now, the book takes this whole system, the judge, the victim, the book of law, and wraps it up in one powerful, kind of creepy metaphor, the parasite. It's this system of belief that lives inside our minds, and it literally feeds on negative emotions like fear and shame. It controls our life by constantly whispering the same core lie over and over, you are not good enough.
Okay, I know. A mind parasite sounds pretty bleak, but hang on, because this is where everything flips. This is the turning point, the part where we start waking up to reality. The book poses this massive, mind-bending question. What if all of it, this whole reality, the domestication, the judge, the suffering, what if it's all just a dream that your mind is creating every single second?
Ruiz just says it straight up. Your entire life has been a dream. And he doesn't just mean when you're asleep at night. He means right now. This waking life of yours is a kind of virtual reality. A perception that's being created and interpreted by your mind based on all those agreements you've accepted as truth.
And this is the secret. This is the whole key. Because if your reality is a dream, you don't have to just be a character getting pushed around by the plot. You can become the dreamer. You have the power to actually change the story. So, how do you do that? How do you change the dream? Well, the book gives us several amazing tools, but the very first one, the absolute foundation for everything else, is understanding the power of your word. This is such a cool concept. Our words are not just sounds. According to the Toltec wisdom this book is based on, words are a most powerful tool for creation. They're like magic spells. As the book says, it is through the word that you manifest everything. We are literally speaking our personal reality into existence, one sentence at a time.
This leads right into the very first agreement. Be impeccable with your word. This just means using that creative power with intention and care. So first, you have to notice your own self-talk. When you hear that judge's voice in your head, you replace it.
Second, you stop using your words to hurt others, which means no more harmful gossip. That stuff is like poison for your own dream. And finally, you speak with integrity. You say what you mean, and you use your words for truth and for love.
You see how this works? Every single time you use your word impeccably, you weaken that parasite. You are actively taking a pen and rewriting your personal book of law, crossing out the old rules based on fear and writing in new ones based on love.
So where does all this lead? When you really start doing this work, you begin this incredible process of creating your own heaven.
Now, we're not talking about someplace you go after you die. Heaven on earth, in this context, is a state of mind. It's something you can access right now. It's your own personal dream, a reality where you are finally free from the tyranny of the judge and the victim, free to just love and be exactly who you are.
And you've got to remember, everything we just covered, being impeccable with your word, that's just the first of 4 powerful agreements the book gives us. Each one is another amazing tool to help you become the master of your own dream.
When you boil it all down, it comes to this simple, powerful idea. This is the core message of the entire book. If you want to change your life, you have to first change the agreements you're living by.
So, I'm going to leave you with that, a question to really take with you. Based on everything we've just talked about, what is one new agreement you're going to make with yourself, starting right now, today?